only have one shot in life. Get the chance.
My man. Anybody who listens to Eminem or has listened to Eminem is my guy.
Real Talk is basically an initiative that started on a very personal level where Thulani and I met, and I thought it was just such an interesting perspective that I was not necessarily used to. And all the straw men that we usually knock down around a homogeneous braai vleis fire just disappeared. And after my conversation with Thulani, I just thought I want to put this guy in the middle of this braai, well, not as a sacrifice or anything, but in this conversation, because I'm not sure that these positions can be held as easily when there's a sound perspective on the other side. So Thulani and I had this idea that we need to get good black perspectives, whatever that may mean, into a white audience, and we need to get good white perspectives into a black audience. For us to have real conversations, it's not just going to happen on the internet or on Facebook, it's going to happen face to face.
I'm expecting the truth. I'm expecting an honesty.
I think it's gonna be an eye-opener and get to see what other people think, you know?
Yeah, I'm curious but also a little bit scared, I guess.
And then it's going to be the thing that we've emphasized throughout the talks. Keep quiet, listen, try and understand what the other perspective looks like and where it's coming from.
I'm going to say a number of hard things today.
That's the most recent day on which I was called a kafir, 6 days ago. White people have a huge sense of entitlement. I've only heard this ever said about black people. Black South Africa is of the view that white South Africa has contributed nothing to reconciliation.
I feel like black men fail to commit to their women in marriage. And I just wanted to ask why that's the case and if my perception is wrong.
Do I give up, turn, walk away?
How do we remain authentic in seeking the relationship?
What would you tell us to do differently to make you feel you retain your humanity when you enter our presence?
What about Afrikaans culture needs to be defended?
What are your views with respect to affirmative action?
It sounds to me that there's a sense in which you guys are also having to deal with something that affects you and has hurt you and has wounded you yourself.
What can you show a black person like me in South Africa that you are on my side? When everything in white South Africa has informed me that I am other and all things wrong.
That I could be at home with my 2-year-old and my wife. This is a way of stretching out my hand and saying, let's talk.
Public discourse is not at the level or at which you actually get to the issues. So your diagnosis is always wrong. And a lot of it happens behind the veil of anonymity.
We've noticed that people are a lot less hostile, more kind when you are seeing the other person.
Yeah. Being able to stand behind your views and speaking about the things you're saying as Thulani and not trying to be user 426.
It's mostly in the capacity as an attorney for AfriForum that I speak here tonight. I will do my best to give you an honest perspective.
I will argue that reconciliation is not possible without relationship, and that relationship only comes from recognizing the humanity of the black other.
Many white South Africans fail to see the sincerity of a great number of black South Africans trying to foster social cohesion in the interest of everyone. The Constitution did not envisage a society in which some are more equal than others.
First thing you need to realize is that Afrikaners are newly rich.
If your vision is about undoing your pain, you've got no vision at all.
I think what is the wonderful thing about Real Talk is that it's a safe space to hear about stupid things that white people do. Now again, there's a lot of black people that's going to sigh and say, are you only realizing this now? But I think for a bunch of white people, the answer is yes. One of the things that Real Talk wants to dismantle is this ignorance on both sides.
Yeah. Both sides, having to learn about things they don't know about. And I think it helps one be more patient. Right?
Telling me I speak good English is not a compliment. I'm almost never trying to impress you, so don't think I am.
Nelson Mandela is liked a lot by white folks. Black folks are beginning to resent him.
When we have to give it up, it is sore. That doesn't mean we don't have to do it. But some sympathy sometimes is in order.
I think one thing that stood out for me was the fact that, people who hurt other people are in themselves hurt. And I think sometimes we don't acknowledge the deeper thing that's happening with the other.
In your initial remarks mentioned a sense of loss. And I'm quite interested to hear more.
Understand the history as we lived it.
As white people, we need to know what we need to do. What is it that's going to show you that we're on your side? I can't become black. I'm not going to immigrate. So we need to find something else.
It's not going to be a political solution.
Yeah.
It's going to be an everyman solution.
Yeah. The everyday guy from Musina, sitting down, rethinking his position, actually seeking to understand, seeking to listen, trying to build relationship, being able to engage and see if there's something for us to build as a country together. And who knows, maybe one day we come up with a nice big picture of where we want South Africa to go as a nation.
The time to look towards a government as the savior has to come to an end, I think. We need something of a collective with new hearts working together.
We invite people to be vulnerable in these conversations, and we invite people to really come to something that they're not going to like, and that's okay.
We think that's the underlying thing, is the building of relationships. Relationships that create security around safety of one's views and the space, and knowing that regardless of our disagreements, I'm going to be on your side. Where people can trust each other enough to be able to protect each other and cover each other and vouch for each other, and be able to say, I know this comes from the right place.
I mean, wouldn't that be wonderful if we can fight each other's battles?
If we regard ourselves as from one side, approaching those challenges facing us, then we're going to win them.
I actually wish the question and answer session could be much longer. Very glad that we went last night. It was very informative. It's definitely needed in our country. We need more of it.
So I'm really glad I came, but I also was very frustrated. I feel quite frustrated, having listened to a panel of white speakers speaking to a predominantly black audience.
I'm very interested in the whole concept of real talk.
I think this platform is absolutely amazing and absolutely necessary for this time.